All right, I think I've managed to succeed in turning the technology on here, so I hope you can hear me. So I wanted to first say thanks to Mike Capellis and Mark Benioff and the other members of the Commission for putting this report together. It was an enormous amount of work. It was a very collegial and collaborative activity that brought a lot of great ideas about the future of clouds, the challenges and opportunities that we face in making them relevant and appropriate in the 21st century. I mean, it really is an exciting time, as both the Congresswoman and the Senator mentioned. The transformation that's taking place by virtue of the confluence of mobile devices and access to digital information on a scale that we simply never had possible before. I think from an economic perspective, it's important to remember that the U.S. is the leader in this space, without question. And that leadership is ours to retain and ours to lose if we do the wrong things. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that the right things happen so that we remain competitive and we create the jobs and economic growth that we all want to see happen. I want to touch on three particular things that resonated with me in the report, and my colleagues will, I'm sure, talk about the rest of them. One of them is the issue about transnational flow of data and the implications associated with it. Digital data flows like water. It flows across borders, it flows across regions, it flows across organizations. And that's both the strength and the challenge that we face. And so how we think about managing the issues around information flow to ensure privacy and security, while also creating the opportunities for collaboration and innovation that flow from the ability to merge data from disparate sources and support the collaboration across organizations is one of our challenges. It's also one of our opportunities. And so one of the recommendations in the report around privacy was that the U.S. government and industry should promote a comprehensive technology-neutral privacy framework that matches best practices around privacy and data protection principles, similar to those that the OECD countries and APAC privacy frameworks have enumerated. As the Senator mentioned, part of our challenge here in regulation is the rate of change, that an internet years, months, or a year is an eternity. And so how we define frameworks that are flexible but respect the issues that we value are really critical. One of our challenges is that many of our laws are sector-specific or sometimes vary from state to state. Rationalizing those in an appropriate way is one of our opportunities. The second thing that I think bears mentioning was touched on in the opening remarks as well is our continuing investments in broadband infrastructure, both wired and wireless, because networking is really the air that lets cloud services breathe. It's what connects the back-end services and infrastructure to their delivery points in government, in industry, and for individuals. And that has some profound implications for what we move forward, both in terms of backbone networks, the wired and optical networks that provide high-speed data transport, but our continuing set of issues about rolling out broadband wireless infrastructure and how we manage spectrum appropriately to support those issues. So that's a second important issue about modernizing and supporting those things. And the move to Internet Protocol v6, which will allow a huge number of new devices to be accessible. The other issue that I mentioned briefly is everything that we take for granted as the brave new world of clouds builds on a long history of research and innovation, of basic research, of industrial research, the transfer of ideas into commercial practice. We have to keep feeding that pipeline by investing in the exploration of new technologies and also by ensuring that we invest in the appropriate education so that we have a workforce that can drive those things future. And so I commend those recommendations from the Commission about investment in basic research as well as investment in the education pipeline because knowledge workers are our infinitely renewable resource in a digital age. So just in conclusion, the future's here. It's not completely distributed yet, as the science fiction author William Gibson said. Part of our opportunity is to more equally distribute it and bring those advantages to ensure that the U.S. remains competitive in this space. Thanks.